Hey guys, XJ9 here. I'm gonna be a little bit more serious today. I'm gonna try also be a little bit mature about this because I've had some time to reflect. I kind of went a little bit ranty on my Discord about this, but you know, at least I didn't make a video about it. Pretty much, I don't. I think Amascut is unpolished. I also think, as usual, the things that the J mods have said were borderline misleading and lies as usual. I would even just say misleading, and because I wouldn't say they're all liars. I would just say like they're very bad at describing things, and and then when I honestly maybe could say they're misleading because they're just like, oh, we learned from our lessons, and then they clearly didn't. Uh, and this is just again to do with the Amascut boss. So I'm just gonna let this play in the background. It really you can just ignore what's going on. But I really think this boss itself with its mechanics and especially the last two phases were very unpolished. So the first thing I want to talk about is how they said, "Oh, we learned our lessons with Zamorak, right?" And they're like, "Oh, barricade and devotion intercept, yeah, that's broken. That won't work. Like we learned our lessons." Well, I hope you know in 2K things that you would think wouldn't work based off what they said do work. Like so like Barrick I was personally avoiding the barricade and immortality and to an extent devotion like the plague because I'm like I always approach bosses with the mentality of how would I make this boss extremely hard based off what I've learned that players do. Like I apply my own thinking into it, and honestly, that's a mistake. And the only reason I even make that mistake is because I believe what Jedek says, and I'm too hopeful of a person. So, for instance, with this mechanic where the Scarab spawn, so I have an issue with this mechanic. So one thing I dislike about this mechanic is when they pop up, there's no so you could actually kill these by going on top of them, but how would you know that? You know, like there's it's not like they have an HP bar. It's not like there's a bar filling up on them. Because like if there's a bar on them saying when they hatch, because they have different hatch timers, it'd be like, oh, maybe we need to do something with them before they hatch. Like that, like even just that change like that, just put a bar showing when they actually will be finished and come up. That is a visual clarity where it's like, oh, there's something going on here. But again, if you let this mechanic play out, there's no visual clarity on like what's happening, or like because you can step on them. Another thing that is a huge visual clarity issue on top of this is the fact that if you dive on top of them or just walk on top of them, your dive gets reset. How are you supposed to know that? There's no visual indicator that this happens. It just happens. It just, hey, your dive's available. Like it doesn't say in the chat. There's no indicator. So again, that's just another visual clarity. Like, and it's like artificial difficulty where it's like, oh, the game developers are so bad at presenting what is happening on your screen, and hey, something got reset, that they interpret it as difficulty. I honestly just feel like the boss was just very unpolished and rushed. This boss was made very fast, like suspiciously fast. I was expecting this boss to be released like late this year. Uh, moving on. So these characters spawn. They have a timer, and you like go, oh, well, it's melee unfriendly. Oh, like my first thought was, oh, melee unfriendly. Oh, just greater chain it. Just threads of fate, death guard, and at lower enrages, what you can do is just reflect it, or well, we gotta skip here, but it's only really possible in lower enrages. I don't even like that getting a phase here makes a skip. I think rewarding DPS in such a big way where it's just like, oh, you don't need to cast a defensive. I don't like shit like that, but these scarabs, if they if they fill up, they explode. Lower enrages, you can just cast reflect, maybe a vitality pot at 500. Reflect vitality pot, spirit shield will pretty much protect you from it all at 500% rage. But again, why am I talking about reflect and vitality pot and arcane, and a spirit shield? Because I was literally avoiding barricade like the plague. Because barricade, immortality, devotion have always been in talks about how broken they are. Jax has been wanting to nerf these abilities forever, but they never have. And yeah, again, my fault for reading into it and being like, oh, you can't cast, because like even if this was 2000 rage and say scarabs explode, barricade will block all damage, and that's just a little bit insane. If you cast immortality, you'll just die and come back to life. And someone might right now say, while watching this video, oh well, the base will take too much damage because of the stacks. They get these stacks that Amascut applies to you starting at 100 in rage. They make the scarabs pierce through your defenses. But it's like, yeah, you're right. That's why you cast barricade first and mitigate her auto damage and such, and then you cast immortality sometime after because it's 30 seconds long, and then immortality procs when the scarabs explode, and you just come back to life. And when they explode, she automatically phases into this next phase, phase two. So yeah, I really don't like that you can. I wish it was like you have to kill the scarabs. Like the scarab does 1,000 typeless that you cannot reduce at all. Like literally, like hard typeless, you cannot reduce it at all. Because like some mechanics have that, but like some don't. And I just find that so weird. Like I can understand at 100 rage, yeah, you can maybe reflect and stuff. I just really dislike, especially like 2,000, 1,000 rage that you can just hate it and it doesn't even matter. What else did I really want to talk about this boss? Honestly, I mean, this phase here is pretty cool. So this is go along. Okay, so what happened here? Okay, it skips quite a bit. So let's go to phase. I might ramble a little bit. I'm gonna try to make this fast though. So you DPS her. You DPS her for quite a while. This mechanic happens with the Katra bombs or the waves. Uh, Again, I looked at one stream of someone doing a 2K kill, and like yeah, people just walk like on the edges. Like, well, if you're magic, you can go there, but like I really don't care. I just stay there because I don't mind dodging the mechanic. Like it's free here. It's just walk back instead of one walk back. Like I've done Akatra so much I literally don't care. Um, so here she spawns scarabs just like in phase one, and same thing here. You would literally just barricade it. Like again, there's not many here because it's only 100% rage. At 500% rage, she spawns a lot more. This mechanic here is like a Solak. No one's even gonna talk about. It's a Solak mechanic though. And yeah, so here I reflect. I shield them actually because I think did I sign? No, I didn't hear. So here's a okay. Yeah, guys, my internet's really bad. Guys, look at that. My internet is so bad during this VOD. Guys, I hope I get my fiber internet fixes it. But essentially, what happened was you go into the. Wait, am I doing this or what am I doing here, guys? Am I even going inside? Oh no, I'm basing. Jesus, guys. So what you have to do is throw a Scarab at the gorilla to make him vulnerable, and then throw a Scarab at the minion and 3 chains to make them vulnerable. You can also throw them at them even though they're not vulnerable anymore, just to get rid of them. And I do the same thing here, where like, oh, like this is one of my favorite parts of the fight, and I'm kind of sad that like you don't even have to do this, where someone kills the scarabs, throws it at the boss, and yeah, to reduce damage. But you actually don't do this here. All you do is go up and DPS the boss, make him phase, but no, make her phase to phase 5. Then everyone just cades because even if there's like 50 scarabs, you take 0 damage. So again, I really think the scarab mechanic is super cool, but like you have no incentive to actually kill them. You just ignore them, and like I again, like every boss just ends up being this just DPS the boss and just cast like a broken defensive like barricade. Get your adrenaline back instantly because adrenaline gain is insane in this game, and go back to this DPSing the boss. And what else? What else was I gonna say here? Let me go back a second. Oh my gosh, guys. Let's go talk. So she phased here. No. Yeah, she gets phased here, and yeah, the scarabs go to detonation mode. Again, I'm throwing them because I'm like, Well, when I'm with like I think I'm with like some learners. Oh yeah, I think I'm with some learners, and telling a learner to cast barricade is kind of hard. They probably don't know what barricade is. Even tell them to cast reflect is hard. Sometimes they just panic cast reflect. So that's why I was also getting rid of them. But knowing what I know now, I'm just gonna say, yeah, you're just gonna cast barricade, bro, because the barricade's busted. Um, this mechanic with the dogs, you don't really need someone killing. So this guy over here is killing them. You really don't need them to killing that. You would only need someone there to kill them if you were doing all four at the same time. You would think that would be a 2000 rage mechanic, right? Because you can actually charge all four and make it go at the same time. But there's legitimately no reason to, because you can only well, you could do in theory three at once, but like you could charge this statue requires two. One statue requires one, then person one requires one, and you would just swap between like two people. But like, if you're doing two statues simultaneously at the same time, you might as well just do two two. There's no reason to do three one. And I think that's also kind of like a design flaw, because if you are charging all four at once, she ends up sending four waves of green, because she only sends this green attack if you're based on what statue you're charging. So if you're charging these, so if we finish charging these here, these two statues, and then go to the other side, she'll send four attacks, and then it's four giant hit splats. That's a cool mechanic, but you don't even have to do it. Again, you just avoid the mechanic and just do two at a time. Like there's no payoff to doing all four, because she just enters a time gate mode, and you can't do all. There's no time save at all. So again, I think that's a design flaw with the boss. I think at like 1,000, maybe even 2,000, you should have been required to activate all four, give all four pieces to Tumikin. It should have said Tumikin is not yet fully formed. He requires all four pieces to be fully formed. He needs one more piece. It should have said something like that. Again, I'm mostly just saying my opinion. Maybe you guys like this fight, okay? But I'm just saying it's just it makes the boss bland and very low threat. I love bosses where it's tense, high mechanics, high threat level, high you need high coordination. And this boss is kind of like just becoming another AOD with extra steps, like just stand here and that's it. Like that's literally what this boss to me is becoming, okay? Very quickly. And hey, there's a chance that they might buff the boss. Again, imagine if they fixed some of these things and made 2K harder. But I would not even like it if they made 4K. Oh, have be harder. Oh, we made 4K. You need all four fragments, but it's just like, can we just make the bait? Because like, who's gonna do 4K? Who's farming 4K? The boss probably stops scaling at 2K, just like Zamorak with drops. It's like, can we just make the boss hard? Because like, even I don't even like that intercept, barrack, intercept, heal other, and heal group or something like that is disabled at 2000 rage. Bro, they should have just disabled intercept at 100 in rage. Because I'll be honest, I was getting annoyed at people intercepting me when I was doing 500% kills. Because it's like, what? Like, it just boggles my mind that they're like, oh, we learned our lesson, but like, why are we even allowed to use this at 500% rage? Right? And, am I moving? Yeah, I am moving, guys. I'm just making sure my audio's on. Like they really just should honestly just remove intercept from the game at this point and like nerf barricade immortality, make barricade immortality share a cooldown. Like I'm not joking. They're just so broken, and I don't know how they've never nerfed it. And again, I was gonna go and like insult JMods and stuff in this video, but like I'm being very critical. Like again, I kind of did in my Discord. I will owe up to that, but like, hey, look at me. I'm making a video right now, and like I cool down a little bit because like I'm just a very passionate player, and I just get very annoyed when like my expectations are just literally never met with with like anything like honestly ever. Um, so we're charging the fragment. As you see, it's new age. All of this phase is you can make up the damage if you were slow on damage at any point in this boss. You could make up damage. Like this is another design flaw in my opinion. So you could phase her before she's even damage capped, as long as you give the two statues their blessings, right? And one thing you could do is just feed her one piece at a time. Everyone ult and then make up the damage. and then just keep doing one piece ult, and then wait, because it's not like this is time gated. It's not like you if you don't do this fast enough, Tumikin's fragments get corrupted by Amascut and you just lose the fight. There's no sense of urgency. So in theory, if she was 3 million, let's just say it was a 2,000 rage and she had like 8 million HP because we were really just not dealing damage for a reason. This is the perfect time to make it up. Just keep sun shining, then dual damage in a small time frame, and then oh, did she? Wait, what? Oh, I'm actually curious what happened here. The progress. The progress was 20%. Did someone just not tank it there? Why was it that? Oh, someone failed the mechanic, I think. So what did she say? The blue. Who went in front? This guy was this blue? Oh yeah, this guy walked in front. Yeah, dude, I'm not joking. So many people are DPS hungry. Like the biggest mistake I see people learn this boss. Again, I'm not being toxic, but like they just click wildly. Like so he's in right in front. Again, this is why you go right in front of the boss. Like literally right in front. This guy literally is like walks in front. Like he's like clicking at the boss when she's damaged, pretty much damage capped. And then yeah, we lost 4 form progress. This is an insta kill at like 500% rage plus. Um, did everyone sign? Oh, I signed. No, yeah, I don't know if it's even Instagram, but yeah, everyone signed there. That guy just walked in front, and funny enough, I wonder if you could actually you could even delay with immortality, but even then, you don't need to do that. And yeah, all you do is just repeat the same thing, and like I can understand that at a lower end rages because you still need to do all 4. At 100%, I can understand, but like 1,000, 2,000, you really should be required to do all 4 at once, okay? Because otherwise, you can just make up the damage. There's no sense of urgency. There's no timer. Uh, I just don't get these pillars. Also, don't do any damage. Like it's like 400s or 1Ks every once in a while, and it's like if you just like, like these pillars are pretty much like a non-existent mechanic as well. She spawns this. This is a question I have with this phase. Is 2K is gonna be really easy if you can wait like 15, 20. I don't know if this is like time gated, but or if it's a bar. So as you can see, she's getting how much energy? She's getting 2K energy right now. Every bit like it's like Zamorak Part 7, and yeah, you want to really actually kill us right away. Everyone should be just sunshine instantly as soon as they can get out of combat in sunshine. And yeah, DPS this little shadow. But the thing is that if someone climbs and climbs back down, your sunshine's on cooldown for the next cats that spawn, like the shadows at Amascut. And one thing I was wondering is, can't you just wait here and not climb the light? Like I think you can just delay and not climb the light and just keep DPSing the shadow for a little bit. Again, I'm not sure, but I would prefer you like to wait 10, 15 seconds before going up here, because then it would allow you to re-sunshine, have max damage and AoE the cats, just death dot, aka stand on top of each other, then damage all the black HP from Amascut herself after. That's at least what I'm thinking if I were to do a 2K kill, which I might do soon. The Simba part is pretty cool. This phase is very wonky. My issue with this phase is I think I target cycle here once, and I selected this guy somehow, like in the upper right corner. They really should have made it more visible. Like they're all green. They probably should have made like I don't know the dungeoneering arrow that marks attack this guy, in my opinion, because yeah, it can be a little bit confusing, especially like here. Like maybe I can hit this guy. Like depends on the perspective. So yeah, in my opinion, there's a little bit the visual clarity is kind of a little bit bad there, because you could argue, oh, it's actually good, but like okay, we're ascending, so attack the guy going up, right? But then here it's like we kind of look like this whole same elevation, but we're ascending. But then we start going back down, and because of that, it's like that could be a little bit confusing, in my opinion. You come back down here, and right, and this phase again. But this is mod ramen, guys. But like, I'm not even trying to shit talk the guy. I hope he's listening to this video because I'm trying to be nice here. I really am. I'm trying to say it's the nicest way possible. Um, so fall to the shadow. She spawns these shadows, and honestly, I don't know what she's even doing. These people also had a bomb. They had to cast mage prayer and like devotion or like reflect, so, some kind of defensive resonance. These girls spawn these Amascut shadows. What people end up doing, I'm not sure you do it in front of her, but for some reason people go behind her and they all just spawn and death dot, and then like they all stand in the same square and they just instantly die to AoE. These cats actually have a really interesting icon buff. So this icon right here It says 4 and it's a little symbol. I'm not sure you can see it, but it's a 4. And it's 4 because there's 4 of them total. I don't get one, but my teammates do since we're 5 man. And it's stacking 4 times. So I think how fast do these girls attack? Whack. They actually attack pretty slow. Even though they have 4 stacks, look how slow they attack. Like chun, chun. Like you would think they would be attacking every tick. Like I honestly even question, is this mechanic even working? Because Amascut has a 5 tick rate. Amascut has a 5 tick rate attack. So wouldn't these be attacking once every tick if the attack speed was increasing? Because this buff, if you highlight over, it says if a cat is within 15 cells of another cat, aka the shadow of Amascut, the minion, its attack speeds increase and it deals additional damage. Then why is it still attacking one? Like, it's attacking so slow. You can stun them, by the way, though. And, like, maybe it's only because of the 100 enrage, but it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't even work as a mechanic. But, like, why are they attacking slow? Do they really just attack, like, that slow when they're not together? I don't know. And yeah, you just group them up. Like, we're not even grouping them up like completely good. I did say like group up in this AoE them, and like, look, they're just all dead. And I have a light around me, as you can see. When I come back down here, 1 second, I have this light around me, and it's like, what the hell is this light? Well, when you kill the cats, as you can see here, they have a bar above their head, right? Where was the bar? So right here is a bar. If it fills up to full, I don't know if they come back to life, but you apparently take a 12,000 typeless hit. Unless you're in the barrier of the guy with the Tumikin light, which is me. So what Mod Ramen thought people would do with this boss is spread out spread out 15 tiles away. So upper right corner, upper left, bottom right, lower left. Make sure you're 15 cells away and 1v1 your cats while the base tank, the person probably with the Amascut aspect, has to tank Amascut. She still autos you and stuff. And if there's a DPS lack, I guess, you would just go to the middle and not die to the explosion. And again, I don't even know if they come back to life. If they did, it's kind of like a redundant mechanic. It's like, what, you're just punishing people for not having damage at that point. I'm sorry, guys. This is so. But why would you? So if everyone has like similar DPS, like again, it's like rots where if a clone dies, it goes back to 0. Why would you even need to go do the mechanic of going in the middle? Why does it even reset? That's another question to me. Like, it's just weird. You know, like, again, I don't understand that's a solution. This mechanic is just very poorly done to a point. It's not even a mechanic. No one does this. No one goes in it to survive damage. And the easiest solution they could do to this phase is give them damage reduction. On top of the existing buffs, if they are close to each other, they get damage reduction, like 25%, 50% damage reduction, like plus 25% damage reduction per clone next to each other. So like, hey, maybe you can still AoE them. So if 2 are next to each other, it's 50% damage reduction. Like, I mean, honestly, fuck it, I would do that. 3 are next to each other, 75%. 4, 50. So if you want AoE 2, you could, but they're taking 50% less damage. That makes sense because you're dealing damage to both targets, but it's reduced by 50%. That kind of like nullifies the AoE, but it could still maybe be good. Like maybe that could be a tactic. Like that's creative. That's a little bit creative. Like wow, we're grouping up only 2 each to AoE them. And like that is actually creative, like a cool tactic. It's like instead of 1v1, we're gonna fight them in pairs. That's pretty cool, in my opinion. That just sounds cool. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I have no script. Okay, I have no script, and I'm kind of losing my train of thought because I'm not sure what else to say about this mechanic. It's a non-existent mechanic. So yeah, they just need a damage reduction because people grouping up in farming 1,000 rage, instant bursting them because they just take full damage. I don't think that should be a thing. If they're all 4 top tier, 100% damage reduction. You have to spread out. Go in pairs or go alone, and you have to 1v1 them. This would make this phase so much harder. This phase is a joke. Okay? And then the reason I also would want to delay the sunshines by 5, 10, 15 seconds, or even just click on the Tumic and Light later, is because then your sunshine would be back up, and this black bar at like 2k plus enrage, it can easily be like 500,000, and you need a DPS, but like you could easily do it with 5 people with sunshine, sapphire armor spec. You can easily make that 0 and maybe deal damage for it. The last phase, in my opinion, is very easy. Again, the waves don't even do a lot of damage at 2000 enrage. The boss, the Katra does more damage with her weight, like her exploding boxes, than this boss at 2000 range, which is very weird. A lot of things don't scale, it seems, or barely scale, which is very odd to me. So as you see, we're damaging her, right? And then, we're lowering HP because, they died instantly. And it's also supposed to be kind of cool because, I think there's also a mechanic where, like, if the clones are alive, they give her the black HP bar. She's Well, she like took damage. What did she even take damage there from? Like this one that casts vengeance or something, or is this going through? I go to melee here. Whack. I hit her. Why is she immune? But is the guy with Tunic and Light? Can they damage the boss? Like already, like isn't this kind of interesting too? It's like look at all these immune hit spots. Am I the only one that's able to damage this boss? It seems like it because I have the light of like the buff icon, like the light of Tumikin. So like, it really feels like the guy, me in this case, would be damaging Amascut to remove the black HP bar while these people are killing their cats. It's almost like doing this phase fast in a way can be bad, but like again, it doesn't really matter if it's fast because you can just get rid of the HP bar anyway if you're all properly sunned. So like that's kind of interesting, but like maybe he was assuming people would like delay it to get rid of that bar, but like you can just tank it, especially with masterwork armor too. You can just delay the damage and then it gets removed upon phase entry. Uh, Her HP bar doesn't seem to go up. It that Yeah, my hits are working on her. That's so interesting. Like see, that's interesting. Like I see what he was trying to do. Like again, he wanted the base Amascut while 4 people fight the cats, stay in the middle, he's tanking Amascut, getting rid of that black HP bar. That is literally what he thought this would be, but instead it's like a super fast part in the fight. Okay? And so she phases. Let's move on talk. And the last phase starts. Look how much HP Tumikin has. 400,000. 400,000! Okay, that's a little bit crazy. Granted, he does take 100,000 if you don't do anything, but everyone pretty much instantly dies or signs or mentality. So it's like, yeah, the mechanic's not even hard to do. So after like 3 or 4 autos, she channels, or I guess 5 autos in this case. She says Scarab. So Tumikin didn't even say anything here. Tumikin doesn't even say anything here. But right here, this mechanic, something's coming from Tumikin to Scarab. Amakin's facing. Oh, I keep on calling Amakin. Why am I calling Amakin? Amascut is facing Tumikin, and like I was thinking it was something like, is Amascut gonna shoot Tumikin? Then like it goes onto Scarab, and then I need to go to the statue and shoots Amascut or something. Because like it's just interesting. Like that's what you would think it would be because like Tumikin was like tanking the hit the whole time in the other phase, or like maybe you just go in front of it, but that's not the case. You cast provoke here, then she stares at you. She shoots at the people, but if there's people, just like on phase 5, it bounces between people for reduced damage, and then I guess it hits Tumikin. It seems like Tumikin doesn't even do anything here, and yeah, then you can actually progress and do damage the boss or do the mechanic. And right here, it's just like, why does Tumikin have so much HP? Why would he need this much HP? Because if you don't do the mechanic, you pretty much die. And why do you need to provoke the boss? At no point in this fight did you have to provoke the boss to progress anything. All you had to do was stand in front of Amascut and in between Amascut and Tumikin to block a hit. So when she's facing Tumikin like this, wouldn't you think you need to stand in front of Tumikin to maybe block the hit? And maybe someone goes at the statue too, like maybe something like that. Like that's what I thought it would be. No, some guy just provokes it, makes Amascut turn, and then shoot. Again, here I think this is just bad clarity. Like, I hope my microphone's not fucked, but I think this is very bad clarity / game design because typically the final phase should be a coma, all the mechanics you've learned put into practice. And when do you cast provoke? When did we learn this? We don't. And I guess the only way we would know to cast provoke is literally the leaks, because provoke had a green icon. It's almost like they wanted to change provoke to have a green icon to tell you. But again, I feel like they just ran out of time. I feel like there was supposed to be a notification saying, hey, your provoke is enhanced. It will get Amascut's attention. Use it at the correct time. That would be great if the game told you that. I'd be like, thumbs up. This is kind of cool. I wonder what we got to do. And then, okay, we died at Tumikin. But like, even then, like, why even have that there if you didn't have to cast it before? It'd be cool if, again, if they wanted to do a mechanic like that, they should have done that with part 5 and just told the player to cast provoke and your provoke is enhanced. I'm being honest, guys. Like, you tell me in the comments, like, do you think this is artificial difficulty? I think it is, because it's just like Solak, where Solak's so hard because you don't know what to do, but like once you know what to do, it's easy to the point it's like a non-existent mechanic. And that was the problem with Solak. Everyone loved Solak at the start, but then the boss became a DPS dummy or waiting game because once you know what to do with the mechanic's not a threat. Like, this isn't a threatening mechanic. Nothing's hard here. Also, some people annoyed me because some guy was telling. I said in the Discord, I'll say this, but it annoys me how many people watch streamers and like instead of listening to anything I'm saying, they don't care and keep saying, well, the people that did 2K, they stood in all quadrants, and the Wikipedia said some wonky shit saying have people stand in each quadrant, the light will bounce between all 4 players and damage the boss. Like, what? That is not what happens. I've seen the clips of people standing in the 4 quarters, and that is not what happens. It is the guy standing alone in the corner just takes a ginormous hit. So usually signs or dies, but it will phase Amascut. And in my mind, when I was doing this phase, I'm just like, you definitely want people to stay in the corner. And as you can see, as if we go back, it literally bounces just like in part 5, right? Watch, boom, 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 boom. And we only take a 3K because it spreads out the damage. We learned this in part 5. That's a cool thing. But why do I even have to invoke it? And I'm not joking. Like, I just really dislike how many people are just watching streams and not like caring about like what their teammates are saying. Because like the biggest mistake I made with this boss on release was listening to anything Jack said, watching anything. I shouldn't have watched anything. I should just when I woke up and be like, okay, Amascut's released, let's do this. And what's the other mistake I made? Again, listening to the with listening, I mean like, oh, we learned from Barricade, we learned from Immortality, Intercept. No, you guys didn't. Okay. I don't know what else, guys. As you can see, so this is the hardest statue, by the way. Scarab. This is the one that 2K teams were stuck on. Look at she's immune. She's immune to kill all the Scarabs, and you need to kill the Scarabs. And look, she has a glowing green aura, guys. This glowing green aura is just like the gorilla in part 4, and the chains and the fucking Ankh. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, she's immune. You can't deal damage." Did no one say anything about throwing the Scarabs? Like, I didn't even watch the 2K streams or any of the kills. I only looked at a RAM 1K stream of someone doing the boss, right? The one run. Did no one try to throw it at Amascut? And again, in that 1K stream, you know what I see people doing? They were picking up the Scarabs, and instead of throwing it at Amascut to get rid of them, they were throwing it across the map in like the dead zone of the map. Who would even think of doing that? I mean, that's kind of cool, but why wouldn't you just throw it at Amascut when we were taught that to remove it? So right here, she has a green aura. You can damage her. You need to throw a Scarab. Look, I throw a Scarab. Look, And then this is the shit I don't like. You actually get a chat message for this. The explosive scarab weakens the carapace. And I throw 3, I throw 4, throw 5. Throws. I think someone else threw it and it removed it. So now we can damage her, and it's just like this is such a cool phase, right? I like it when you actually have to do the mechanic. Every other freaking statue is two crocodiles spawn, just ignore them and kill the boss. I don't. Oh, one is you get the burden of the monkey god. Just pass it and just DPS the boss and you win. And it's like I'll be honest, these bosses should have been you have to do the mechanic and this phase should have just been you have to do all 4 statues correctly, and you as you do each statue, like so in this case, she would have 275 HP. However, every statue unlock makes you able to deal what would it be 90,000 ish HP to her. So right now she's immune. You would do Scarabus, right? You would do Scarabus. She's doing this, and then how are we able to damage her here? What the fuck? When she's doing that, you can damage her, or I don't know. I think when you evoke it, maybe that's interesting, or maybe just doing so much. Um, so so she's channeling. We should be able to damage her for like 90,000 HP or like 80,000 or like like 65,000 HP, but then it should cap. And then that's it. I also think personally, like if this was Scarabus was the last statue or anything was the last statue, you should have to kill the 2 crocodiles before you can damage Amascut. You should have to throw these things on Amascut. You should have to pass the burden and let the burden deplete before you can damage Amascut. That's what I would have done. You would have to do the mechanic, and the damage unlocks after each increment. This would have been the coolest Part 7 final phase of any boss in the game, but instead it's just do this mechanic that people can't do for some reason, even though I don't know how people didn't know to throw the scarabs at the boss, or just DPS the boss if you get the other 3 pillars. I think that's shit game design. Okay, I really do. I can maybe understand 100 rage. Okay, maybe it's baby, maybe it's just one statue. I can understand that. But at 2K, it's exactly the same. 2K rage, 100 rage, it's exactly the same. It's just DPS her and she dies instantly. Okay? I don't even understand why Tumikin has so much HP. Tumikin having so much HP would only make sense if you had to do multiple statues, like all 4 or something. And if you fail 4 times, then I guess he dies. You know? Like maybe make some, like maybe you actually need everyone to fight to go to the quadrant. And if less people went, Tumikin would take more damage. So if only one guy took, boom, 100k. All 5 players went, boom, a freaking like a 50k. Like you could tell these last 2 phases in particular were very rushed. You could tell this was a rushed release boss. And like again, there's a chance they fix it. Like look at this. You do Tubik, you finish them off the boss. Tubikin's channeling all 4 statues. It beams the boss. It's almost like you were supposed to channel all 4 statues. And guys, I'm getting very upset. I'm getting goosebumps while I'm upset. Because guys, I'm a lord nerd. I'm a freaking nerd. Look at this. My thing getting fucked up by the particles. Like I love lore. I love hard bosses. I love mechanics. And it's just disappointing what could have been. We could have such a hype world first race. We could have had a hard boss even after the race, but instead it's just turning into AOD. Maybe they'll fix the boss because again, they haven't released 4K Enrage because of things they've seen in 2K and want to address. They're pretty much saying the boss is. I hope they're saying the boss is pretty much got brute forced in 2K Enrage with the world first race, and there's a lot of issues where people are just like not doing the mechanics, or the boss is just not finished, and they want to finish the boss before they release 4K. Does this mean they'll buff 2K? They'll buff 1K? They'll buff 500 or something? I hope so. I hope it isn't just we're just making 4K have our learnings of having to do all 4 statues. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but then people are just gonna camp 2K and just cheese the boss. I want this boss to be as best as it can be. Okay, I understand Jax has no money. I understand they're on deadlines and they have a skeleton crew. I understand that. You know, this boss kind of sucks right now. I understand that. I hope someone. I hope Bob Robbins watches this right now. Again, I flame the shit out of you. I know, But like, I'm just trying to help you. Okay, this is probably the most mature thing I could ever say in my life. Okay, I'm trying to help you. The fact that this boss's mechanics still work, even the boss is dead. I mean, like this boss is not done, guys. Okay, and that was it with the boss. Uh, Besides that, again, guys, tell me what you think about this boss. I really wish this boss was more polished. Again, funny enough, RS Guy only got to part 5, which is before the last two phases, the cats, the climbing the light, and this phase. So, like, hey, maybe that's why these phases weren't polished at all, because he didn't give feedback. Maybe RS Guy gave good feedback about part 1s to 5, because they're pretty well done, except the barricade cheese at 2K. I don't like that. The immortality cheese, I don't like that with the scarabs. They should have just been like hard typos and just kill the immortality. Doesn't work. Like when the scarabs explode, they just remove barricade. They just remove immortality. That, like, again, my fault for like, if I made this boss, guys, at 2K rage, a scarab explodes, it removes barricade. Another issue, again, I'm backtracking here, but you see this boss healing. The boss only heals 100 per scarab, even at 2K in rage. Why? It should have scaled. 500 rage, boss heals 500. 1000 rage, boss heals 1000. 2000 rage, the boss heals 2000 per scarab. And you know what I would have done as well? At like 500 rage, on top of this, every second, every tick of the heal when she's doing this, right? It goes up by 100 or 200, or even like 100, 200, 400, 800 every time. Uh, and she just keeps healing. Honestly, so you have to kill the scarabs. Maybe you just need to use obliteration staff to have the healing. Just something, because again, the fact that she heals the same at every enrage is kind of gives you like Zamorak Part 7, where it's like the healing, Zamorak doesn't get healing, but it's just like you might as well. It might as well not even be a mechanic. It doesn't matter. Like look at this phase. She phases, and oh my god, look at that. Okay, that's so bad. 2.2 million. How much HP does she get, guys? Guys, she got a whopping fucking like 60k HP, or like 80k HP, and it's like whoop-de-doo, I guess. And, and like sure, it scales because in a way it scales because of more scarab spawn, but again, it's only 100. The more scarab spawning, the threat should have been more explosions that we need to deal with. We can't tank all those explosions. I really just wish this boss was better. Again, I'm being as much mature as I can. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Like, are you okay with this? Like, I personally think for RuneScape's well-being, this is not a good thing. Last minute thing too. One thing I didn't even mention, I'm not even sure if it's confirmed, but it seems this way, is that this boss has drops as well. If you go 2-man, one person gets 2 drops, one gets 3 drops. Maybe it's based of DPS or base roll. Personally, I don't think I like that, because it kind of incentivizes, again, like kind of like Virago, lower group sizes to get all the loot, and it makes you so like, why would we take a learner who takes a loot spot, right? Like on the flip side, you could say, well, if you take 2 people, one person is going to get shoot loot, so like maybe what you would do is maybe just have one learner or that one person the teach, like if you go with a 3-man or a 2-man and have a learner, well, they're never going to get that double drop. The 2 people knowing they're doing get the double drop. So like, I'm curious what you guys think about the 2. That wasn't a big vocal point of the video, because again, I don't even know if that's a thing, but apparently it's a thing. And yeah, like maybe the boss is the boss that much harder in duo? Like again, like maybe because again, like 1000 raids duo, again, like if the boss takes like 23 minutes, sure, you know what, that's fine, because the boss with a good team, with 5-man, it'll be what I think it could be like 10, 12 minutes, 13 at 1000 rage with a pretty solid team. And if someone dies, you can still do the kill. But if you're duo, if someone dies, you get punished. So like, if let's say the kill takes 22 minutes because her HP doesn't scale down, are you guys okay with that? Again, I'm not sure if I should be mad about that. I kind of would get mad, but at the same time, it's like, well, if someone's doing duo 100, would they and get double loot or triple loot? Is it as good as doing 5-man 1000s, for example, and 2-man 1000s? Is it does double the length or even longer, but a lot more risk. And like that could be kind of cool. You know, I'm not sure about that, so that's why that's not the main point of the video. I'm not mentioning it here. If you heard it, if you heard it, tell me what you think about that. Like, maybe tell me, have you observed the kill times are pretty much double? And yeah, we should factor in the risk because like I think it's still better to take a big group that knows what they're doing because if someone dies, uh, you know, you can still get the kill. I do feel like it kind of incentivizes not taking learners though, because you know the learner is probably gonna die or fuck up the kill. That is my one concern. So yeah, I guess that's really it. Again, I guess I'm really trying my best to be nice here. I think I was pretty nice and fair in this video. This is kind of like a feedback of Amascut and what I thought about it. Again, I'm not saying, oh, I would get the 2K first, or oh, I should have gotten it. I'm just because again I said I approached it wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this boss could have should have been better designed. It could have been better designed. It could have and it should have been better designed. And I hope they can fix it. That's really all I'm saying. Okay, because I say these things and people think I'm being salty. Like, oh, you're salty that they got the first 2K kill. Oh, you're salty that you can't do 2K. I'm not. I'm not saying that. I'm literally saying like the 2K kill, like it's just DPS. Like is that me just being salty or is that me just spitting out facts? You know, like it could have been more mechanically intensive in a bigger moment. Like again, I feel like the reason, well, besides the Scarab statue and them not knowing that they're supposed to throw the Scarabs at Amascut to make her not immune, I feel like the biggest reason that the race took so long is due to the lack of clarity. Like the Scarabs popping up, there should have been a bar. So, what can we do here? The part 7, you're supposed to provoke, but you weren't taught that at any point. Like again with Virago, when you climb up, you learn to evoke it. So with the bleeds, you learn to evoke the bleeds. Again, Mod Ramen or Sponge or whoever worked on this boss kind of had a backwards brain. Again, I'm just playing some fun, where they put the learning mechanic first, but then you didn't have to do it at any other point in the fight. So again, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. You know, really, I'm trying to be a nice community member here. Again, I'm not salty. I'm not salty. I really wish this boss was better. I'm salty about the boss being shit. I'm salty about the boss turning into a DPS dummy, and I want to be hopeful that it'll be fixed or changed or buffed, but I don't think they're gonna do it. So yeah, that's it. Tell me what you think. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.